What's up, YouTube? This is your girl, Megan. Welcome back to the Hood Astro Queen, to all of my returning subscribers. But if this is your first time on my channel today, do us both a favor, okay? Click that subscribe button because you know you want to. Also, if you are interested in booking your very own natal chart reading, feel free to contact me at astroworld@gmail.com and we can go ahead and get you squared away on today. So today I'm coming to you guys once more with yet another celebrity birth chart reading. And I'm going to keep it real brief, okay? The only reason I'm doing this reading is because I've gotten quite a few requests and it's over Miss Star Brim. Star Brim is Cardi B's best friend, and she was reportedly charged with, I don't know what she was charged for, but word on the curb is this is going back to jail. Okay, so Star Brim just got out of prison. She was doing some Fed time for fraud or embezzlement or something to that degree. They said she stole up to $250,000. And so she did that bid. She got out. She got a radio show. She started incriminating herself. Now, I'm not really sure if the radio show played a part in gaining the evidence needed to indict her, but you know, she was in her bag. Everybody knows that Cardi B as well as Star Brim are key members of the Bloods in New York. So she has been very vocal about her gang activity, the things that she's done. And I do believe some of the things that she is allegedly being charged for this go round are things such as ordering a hit on the girls that Offset was sticking his peen in. She allegedly slashed somebody in the face. There were, a bunch of things. And it was her and quite a few of her other blood members being indicted. So, this is like I guess you could say, scandal of, I would say, the century, but you know how this news cycle goes, honey. In 48 hours, we'll be on to something else. But for now, it's the tea. And I do want to just take a quick look at her birth chart because she is a very interesting person. So Star Brim was born on March 14th, 1991 in Brooklyn, New York, making her a Pisces sun. And her moon, depending on what time she was born, could be in the later degree of Aquarius, or she could also be a early degree Pisces moon as well. Now, right off that Pisces energy definitely deals with her being institutionalized on some level, or at the very least supports her running with the law and her spending prolonged periods of time in prison. It could also support her being fraud, like from the perspective of her doing some scamming, especially with her sun squaring her Mars, which is at the 19th degree of Gemini. She's a crafty bitch. That's scamming and fraud all the fuck day long. Okay, this aspect can produce a person who, if they aren't really channeling their energy in a productive manner, they could be very prone to like nefarious shit and to kind of get involved in things that are kind of on like the lower vibrational level of that Gemini energy and that Piscean energy. So double dealing, stealing, like I said, downright theft, embezzlement, lies, scandals, collusions, and just all kinds of, backhanded shit. Also, with her being a Gemini Mars, I am inclined to believe, especially swearing her son, I'm inclined to believe sis knows how to fight. Okay, a lot of Gemini Mars individuals are exceptionally good with the hands, and Gemini actually governs the hands as well. So, and it could also point towards her having a very explosive and violent temper. Gemini and Virgo Mars individuals, as well as Sagittarius, I guess you could say all the mutable signs, right? Because mutable is one of the most, dangerous energies you could fuck with. But particularly Gemini's Mars individuals can be very, very, very violent. So it does support a lot of her gang-related activity and just her being the type of person to pop off and so on and so forth. I also can't help but to notice that she is a Cancer South node, with her South Node at the 25th degree conjoined to her Chiron. This right here it sums up a lot of things. Number one, it deals with her gang related activity, heavy gang related activity. That's that Cancer energy all day long, every day of the week. But it could also point towards issues with the mother, karmic issues involving women. I also am inclined to believe, even though she's pregnant now, this pregnancy could even be exceptionally hard on her body. She could have had miscarriages before in the past or issues conceiving. But with her being a Cancer South Node, she's kind of not supposed to be a parent in this life. I'm not saying all Cancer South Nodes aren't supposed to be parents. I'm a Cancer South Node and I have a daughter. But definitely there are some challenges that tend to come along with motherhood and womanhood even. Also, I forgot to mention another manifestation of her Mars in Gemini is definitely her gravitation towards a career in radio. Even though I believe, like I said, she's doing podcasting now, but still that can actually result in a person who has a job in media. And she could have been relatively successful, especially with her Venus in Aries sextiling her Mars. So, that's good. Now back to her South Node. I know I'm kind of hopping around here. It's late and I'm tired. All right. So back to her being a Cancer South Node. Another manifestation of her South Node is her being somebody who is very much controlled by her emotions, somebody who has a very difficult time operating independent of other people, and somebody who has a very difficult time being objective. And this is very interesting because it makes me think about something that she said. She did an interview a while back when people were questioning her about something that Cardi did. You know, Cardi's always doing something. And her response was, I don't care what my friend does, right or wrong. I'm going to be there. It doesn't matter. Even if she's wrong, I'm going to defend her. Even if she's wrong. Y'all know how y'all New York girls be talking. And, yeah, that's very Cancer South Node. That's very Cancer-ish. Cancer, because it's so overcome and so diluted by emotions, it kind of stunts rational thought, and it can produce a personality that is very much like operates very subjectively. Like there is no objectivity anywhere, no rational thoughts, no rationality. Everything is about how you feel, right? I love my friends. I feel loyal to my friend, which is another manifestation of that Cancer South Node being loyal. So in conjunction to that Chiron, her being loyal to her gang, her wilding out, being reckless, extraordinarily like just off the chain with the people that she cares about. But then to the point where it's like it affects her moral compass. Also, her Venus at the 24th degree of Aries is squaring her Cancer South Node. You could even look at that as her committing violent acts, to be quite honest, especially with that Venus squaring her Chiron, her committing violent acts while she's with this gang. And interestingly enough, I was watching that impressive video that she did on Star Brim and Cardi B, and she was saying that Star Brim admitted to slashing people in the face, as I mentioned earlier, which is very interesting because that Venus in Aries squaring the South Node, Aries governs the face. It also deals with cutting objects. And it could quite literally, this could manifest in her cutting people or committing like acts of violence with a group of people, with her gang. So it's just like, that's very interesting. And then with that Chiron element included, Chiron deals with wounds. And quite literally, this could be a wound to the face or a wound sustained by way of either a burn or a cut. So, yeah. This aspect could also deal with where, once again, with her being so caught up in her emotions or having a certain level of unwavering loyalty, she can make very abrupt, impromptu decisions, get herself involved in a lot of bullshit that she'll end up regretting later. And that could also be further reinforced with her being a Capricorn North Node. A part of that Capricorn North Node manifestation is all about like basically reaping what you sow. Karma can be a bitch for a lot of Cancer North Nodes because, Cancer or Capricorn rather is governed by Saturn. So therefore, in this lifetime, Capricorn North Nodes are supposed to be held accountable for the shit that they do. And so when you're in a situation where you're involved with a gang or you're involved in a lifestyle where you're committing a lot of transgressions or doing kind of shady shit on the regular, you might want to be very leery of these placements, especially if you're a Capricorn North Node, because it can produce a situation to where you have lots of run-ins with the law. Okay. And that Capricorn energy, we're not talking about low level cops. We're talking about head honchos, the FBI. Okay. And in her case, NYPD's finest, where you are seriously punished for your actions. Saturn deals with punishment. So that's a part of her North Node as well. A lot of this is karma. It's very karmic. This is also reinforced with her Neptune at the 16th degree of Capricorn. The number 16 deals with catastrophe, but it also breaks down to the number 7, which in and of itself also deals with being institutionalized, being imprisoned even. So it's not quite forming a conjunction with her North Node, but it's still definitely, it's in the same sign. That Neptune in Capricorn could absolutely result in issues with the law, run-ins with the law once again. Same thing with her Uranus in Capricorn. That could even create an effect to where, she, in addition to a bunch of other people, are experiencing issues with the law. I also meant to mention as well, with that Cancer South Node energy, especially with Chiron in the mix, I do feel like she has a lot of issues with her family, and that does come along with the whole karmic issues with women. And I do feel like she tends to overcompensate. And I guess you could say that for a lot of people who join a gang. Like the whole idea is like, okay, well, I don't have a family of my own. So I go out in the streets and I find a family that is like my surrogate family, for lack of a better phrase. And these are the people that I consider to be the closest to me, and I'm going to defend them and do whatever with them no matter what, and no matter how bad of an influence these people are on my life. Her Uranus conjoined to her Neptune in Capricorn could even deal with her being very, I guess you could say, vulnerable to influences from friends, or where there aren't that many degrees of separation between she and her friends. Like, they kind of like, I don't want to say intrude in one another's lives, but like there's no boundaries. Like she's very much all about her friendships with people, like period, where she's even willing to sacrifice herself on the behalf of her friend, which word on the curb is that she's catching some of these charges for Cardi. Like that Cardi was the one who did A, B, C, and D, but really Star Brim is the one who's just going to eat the charge because Cardi B is the money ticket. And this is also reinforced with her Saturn at the 3rd degree of Aquarius, which can denote very karmic relationships with friends. So you could look at that in that way, or you could just look at that as just it reinforcing that loaded South Node she has, with that really just echoes like her being a member of a gang and her being involved in, essentially what is an enterprise. That's another way to interpret her Uranus conjoined to Neptune in Capricorn. Her being involved in like an entire enterprise where there's like a ranking system and a hierarchy system, all of that. That's very much Capricorn energy. Her being a Capricorn North Node also deals with the fact that in this lifetime, she has to learn how to be a lot more independent and like function on her own. In fact, she might even have to spend a lot of her life, a lot of her time alone, which is another reason why I feel like, I mean, having kids for Cancer South Nodes can be tricky because you're supposed to kind of lighten your load in this lifetime, not add to it, especially when like emotions and families and it's just a lot. But nonetheless, yeah, she has a karmic duty to really, I would even say, grow up and mature, which could be difficult because that her Jupiter at the 3rd degree of Leo is opposing her Saturn and Aquarius, and that could deal with where, I mean, that Jupiter in Leo could deal with where she's incredibly childish, but forming the opposition to her Saturn, it could point towards like upheavals, catastrophic moments. I would even look at this as like a sudden separation between she and her child, which could happen if she actually ends up going back to jail after she gives birth. And yeah, she just needs to grow up, honestly. And then with her Venus square and her Capricorn North Node, it just deals with, or it points to where in order for her to be able to achieve that, she has to give up or at least learn how to manage this temper or stay away from people that aggravate her or people that trigger her. I mean, I guess I don't know how gangs work, but from what I heard, you know, you can't just leave. But I mean, sis needs to do something. Yeah, her Mars is forming a quincunx to her Pluto, which is at the 20th degree of Scorpio, retrograde at that. So, I mean, that even deals with her being a city girl, you know, that Mars and Gemini, her having like this street smarts, a lot of wits about herself, because I do get that. She's very like, has a very sharp mind, but like using that for bad, using that to help fuel this criminal enterprise with that Pluto and Scorpio energy there, criminality, networking with, you know, a bunch of criminals, her getting entangled in that system. Also, before I close this out, another manifestation of her being a Capricorn North Node is knowing when she's being tested. Because that way, if you know when you're being tested, I mean, you're more likely to pass the test. But being a Capricorn North Node will deal with people testing you. So taking it back to her Venus in Aries squaring that North Node, that could point to where, like, you know, she's in a standoff, or, you know, she gets into an argument with the person or a girl or whoever. And instead of reacting or relying on that Cancer South Node, right, to just pop off and I'm going to just do this, she's like, okay, I'm indifferent. It's okay. I'm going to be a lot more calculated about my approach from now on. It also deals with her developing life experience. She might even be in need of a mentor, to be honest. And in like a weird kind of way, she's supposed to be familiar with the government and its many systems. So like her constantly being tied or tangled up in court, or her going back and forth to jail, could definitely in a weird way kind of add to that Capricorn North Node. And I'm going to also say this too, with her Chiron conjoined to her Cancer South Node, I feel like she has some self-hate issues, straight up, as it pertains to her skin color, like issues with race. I'm gonna leave that there. I ain't even finna go all the way into that. This could also point to where her breasts are bought and paid for too. Maybe she's had some surgery on her stomach as well. So yeah, I didn't want to spend too much time on Miss Star Brim, but this is definitely a karma issue for her. So if I were her, I would walk on the straight and narrow for as long as I possibly could. And yeah, that concludes this reading. Y'all drop down in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this situation. And as always, make sure you practice unconditional self-love so that you can love others. And until the next video, I holla.